Hey everybody, it's Rolly from Rolly Max Music, and welcome to our latest in the series of videos with helpful hints and tips on various musical instruments that are quite popular. And our aim is just to help you get better at it, especially if you're just beginning. It can be a little bit daunting, but don't worry, if it's explained the right way, music really is quite easy to catch on to. And in this video, we're going to show you how you can start making music right away today. Now, before we get any further, we'd just like to have a big shout out here to get it lined up here. Oh, the lighting is strange for this here. There we go. The Willow Ridge Community Association is sponsoring this series of videos, and Rolly Max Music is located in the Willow Ridge Community Hall. And we teach music lessons out of here. There's also several other programs going in the building and throughout the community. So just check out Willow Ridge Community Association, any social media, type that in, and you'll be able to find out what's going on in this community. Now, the good thing about video is, although we're coming to you from the Willow Ridge community in Calgary, you can watch this anywhere in the world. So today's video tip is going to be about being able to sit down at a piano and actually play music the first time. And you're thinking like, well, that's crazy. But it really is that simple if you understand just a few basics on how things are organized on the piano. Now, what we're going to learn is a simple type of chord called the triad. So as you might guess from the word tri, meaning three, it's a three-note chord. And so the notes are numbered 1, 3, 5. Now we're going to play in the key of C major. That's the easiest key to play in on the piano, just because it only has the white keys. Now if you start on the note C and you play 7 notes in a row, then you play the 8th, which is actually a repeat of the first. That's a very familiar sound. That's your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's called a major scale. And it has the 7 notes. So in the key of C, like I mentioned, they're all white keys. So first of all, though, we have to be able to find C. And the best way to do this is by looking at the patterns of the black keys. So for those of you who don't know how to find your notes on the piano, you may notice that the black keys are organized into groups of 2 or 3. And then there's that bigger space in between there, right? Now, there's a brilliant method that I laugh about it every time I think about it, but a brilliant method of memorizing C and F is the other note that we can memorize and find instantly. The 2-note pattern looks like a set of chopsticks, and the 3-note pattern looks like a fork. So those are easy to recognize. Those are the 2 most common eating utensils in the world, right? But the cool thing is, if you speak English, which is, of course, the most widely spoken language in the world, then you will know that the word chopsticks starts with C, and the word fork starts with F. So to the left of every group of 2 black keys is a C, and to the left of every group of 3 black keys is an F. So now we just fill in the blanks in alphabetical order. C, D, E, F. Yep, there's the fork. G, A, B, C. And then there's our C scale. Now, here's the cool thing about the way the chords are formed. So there's 7 notes in the scale, like we mentioned, and regardless of the key, the universal names for these notes are do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then do again. But if we do the right pattern of these notes, we can come up with the 7 chords that are associated with these notes and the 7 chords that belong in every key. Now, in jazz theory, we actually use Roman numerals to number each chord we use Roman numeral 1 for the first chord, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And those are the 7 chords that naturally fall within the key. And the way we come up with these 3-note chords or triads is we play the first note, which we're going to call the root. So my thumb here is on middle C. And then if we skip D, which is the next note, play the 3rd note, which is E, skip the 4th note, which is F, and then play the 5th note, which is G, we get a nice little 3-note chord or triad, and this is called C major because it is rooted on C, and because of how far apart each note is, that's for another lesson, but it's a major triad. This is a major chord. The 2nd chord is minor, and so is the 3rd. The 4 chord is major, the 5 chord is major, 6th chord is minor, 7th chord, you don't see many 7 chords in songs because it's a diminished chord. You may notice it sounds kind of weird, kind of ominous, right? So those are the 7 chords in the key of C. C major, D minor, E minor, F, we don't have to say the major when it's a major, G, A minor, and B diminished. So just by moving our triad shape to the right or left, we can come up with chords. Now, if we were to take these chords, and you can play them in either hand, but one of the simplest, easiest ways to start playing chords, especially to accompany yourself for singing, which is why a lot of people take up music in the first place, is to play the chord with the right hand and play just the root note with the left hand. And it sounds good if you use a low note. Now, if you can maintain a distance of 8 notes, you can play what's called an octave with your left hand, and it just fills it out more. It sounds like a nice full chord, right? But if not, you can just play the notes, play the low one here with your left hand. So here's a good example of a song that uses just this. You might recognize it. That, of course, is the first part of a song called Lean On Me by Bill Withers. So we're going to get a little bit more in depth now on the technique for playing this. So far we've been mainly talking about theory, and by the way, theory and technique are the only 2 things that any music teacher can teach you about music. So theory is just quite simply an explanation of what we're doing. So, you know, the fact that that note's a C is a C major chord, that's theory. Technique is how we do it. Now, you might go like, wait a minute now, I've never played the piano before, but you're asking me to play 3 notes at the same time in one hand. It's actually not hard. If you watched the very first video in the series, we talked about the golden rule, take the easiest way out all the time, which is just like relax your hands, don't move any muscles. So if we do that, and then we put the fingers down on the piano, so that we have 5 fingers in a row, rather, on 5 keys in a row, then to do a triad, all we have to do is to lift up the pointer finger and the ring finger just a little bit. So I don't know if you can see that's kind of the shape. They're just a little bit higher than the thumb, the middle finger, and the pinky, right? And then we freeze that, and if we move from the wrist, we can do that old rock and roll kind of piano. And what I did there was doing the 1, 4, and 5, which are the 3 major chords in a key. So you can have a lot of fun just with those 3 chords for jamming and stuff. So that's the easiest way to play a triad, and you can just move left to right, and just with a little bit of practice you'll be playing in no time. Now back to that intro song, I was playing Imagine by John Lennon, and as you know, John Lennon wasn't known for being a keyboard player, he was actually a guitar player. But the triads are so easy that what John did was he rearranged it so that he's playing his bass note in the left hand, but alternate with an octave, and there's the rest of the triad. So he's just splitting it up, and then he just moves to the right or left. So there's just a couple of examples of some music that can be played with almost no background or practice whatsoever, just by knowing how triads work and the 7 chords in any key. Now, if you want to know more, we're available for music lessons here at the Willow Ridge Community Hall and also online. Just give us a call at that number. We'd be happy to set you up. And thank you for watching. Please watch for the next episode. And thanks again to the Willow Ridge Community Association for making this all possible. Till next time, happy playing.